Oh, you don't have a
jagged.
zoom?
I do, but it's not
Have to
it's not
reposition.
smooth, so it's gonna be jumping. So
Oh,
I don't know if they want it smooth.
Oh, it jumps some.
make it personal and diaristic.
Yes, exactly. Ready?
Yeah, sure.
Jonas, light, maybe put your head up higher, Jonas, for the light. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Jonas. Scenes from the life of Andy Warhol. Say something about it, why you made it, and how you made it.
I made the film. I have been, filming Andy for years on and off. And in 1990, maybe three or somewhere, I have to check the date. Bob Bourg in Paris, Centre Pompidou, had Andy Warhol show, and they wanted to ask me if I had any footage that they could show with Andy. So that was for me, and they provided me with an occasion to collect all my footage and put it together. And those were, different scenes that I filmed on different occasions. So I just put them together, and I called them from the scenes from the life of Andy Warhol.
Very appropriate.
And Paul, you appear
Yes.
in a few places,
Yes, a few places.
also.
And
Yes.
Lee Radziwill, of course, she invited you out to Montauk.
Yes, much of the filming took place actually at what is often referred to as Andy's estate.
Yeah.
One part of it was rented by during a few summers by Radziwill, Lee Radziwill, and that's where Kennedy kids used to spend much of their summers, and that's where that's the background for much of the footage.
Now,
And that is in near Montauk, in Long Island.
and you had an unusual technique. You used an 8mm or 16?
16. All my filming from its very beginning, that is 49, when I stepped in New York, 16 millimeter. I did, one film in 30. Guns of the Trees, my first film, was 35.
But did you always use that stop frame?
Much is, it is, my technique usually is referred to as single frame technique, but it is a variation. When I get interested in people, then I don't cut. I sort of keep longer, because you have to identify, with the face, with the people. I keep a little bit longer, but then, I introduce single frames. I change the rhythm, sort of, my temperament comes into it. But there are stretches long enough, because I don't want to become too abstract. That's always a danger with single frame techniques, that you become too abstract, and then become just colors and lines, and no more feelings. And I'm interested in people. Abstract as I am in my sort of single frame technique, I'm basically interested in people, in feelings, emotions, and that I think one can see in the scenes from the life of Andy Warhol.
And also, the technique is sort of, I think I heard you refer to once as a kind of a diary technique.
It is a diary. It is, just to illustrate the difference between diaristic personal approach and a documentary, like television kind of filming. When they used some of my footage in the biography, television biography of Jackie Onassis. And immediately you could see the difference. And actually, when they used to advertise Jackie Onassis' biography on television, they used my film, and they said, "You will see Jackie Onassis like personally, like you can never see her." And even they could not miss that there was this big difference between like a personal filming and like objective kind of documentary kind of filming. I'm there, I'm very unnoticeable usually. I'm part of the situation. I never ask anybody's permission because it's basically a home movie filming kind of thing.
For you, for
For me,
yourself.
and nobody minds it because I'm part of it and
Yeah.
not imposing and practically invisible.
So many documentary filmmakers like to impose. Yes, many people who actually set out to make documentaries usually impose on the.
Yeah, they have most of the time when they make so-called documentaries, they have preconceived idea what they want to achieve already, what they want to show, and in what kind of way. I never had any ideas because I follow life. I never know what will happen next. I'm just a filmer, one who films, records it. So it's not a documentary really. It's a kind of real life or diaristic real life footage. I mean, the diary form is very has become very dominant during last 50, 60 years in all of the arts, in literature especially, beginning with Max Frisch, who got even Nobel Prize for the practically diaristic novels where he puts everything, laundry, invoices, everything, and of course Norman Mailer and down the line. So it's very much in the air. Everybody got fed up, and of course your own filmmaking, your trilogy, or what Andy was doing, like to escape the conventional novelistic or the stories that everybody knows, and there is nothing new. So that's real life.
Do you must have a lot of other interesting footage since you started in 1949 doing this type of.
Yes, I have a lot of footage. So when there is a need, like I did one on George McJonas, the scenes from the life of George McJonas. I did one on Kennedy children. I have a lot of material on Peter Beard. I will make some the scenes from the life of Peter Beard. I just finished a little film for the Hans Richter's anniversary, scenes from the life of Hans Richter. I have many, and of course, scenes from my own life. That is the last film, which was shown in Italy. That is as I was moving ahead. Occasionally, I saw brief glimpses of beauty. Yeah.
Was that the title?
That was the
What
title.
a good title. Oh, I like that. I didn't know that title. Very good title.
That's a long movie. Scenes, does not say it's scenes, but those are scenes from my own.
From your
life.
children and your life.
Yes.
Oh, great. You didn't overlook your own family. That's good.
25 years of my
Family life.
Yeah.
In this new age of these video cameras, don't you envy the fact that you didn't have one 50 years ago? Because
yes and no. Now I do a lot of videotaping. In '87, I got my first Sony, and I began. That is already 15 years ago. I have now like 1,000 hours of video diaries, which I'm beginning to put together in honor of Fernand Léger. In 1929, I think Fernand Léger said, "I'm dreaming of making a film that would run 24 hours long and show real life, more or less." So I'm making a 24 hours long video film right now.
It's about time somebody did that.
From real life.
I mean, I made one with Andy many years ago, but it took about a year to make. But was only shown on you in one day.
It was shown once.
I don't think it will ever be shown again. Do you realize that? It could maybe in the future if they could ever afford to print it again. Yeah. But the print is so expensive.
Most of the material maybe still exists. Those reels, different reels, has to be reconstructed.
No, They still exist, but
Yeah.
I mean, I constructed them that night. I put them together the day before, and I stacked them in the right order and what I thought. And then after a certain point, I just said, well, now this and this, and but so it doesn't have to be reconstructed. Somebody else could just do it.
Yeah, it does not make, when we screened the 5 or 6 hours long at the Elgin Theatre, what was the title then? It's very religious title.
Oh, the Imitation of Christ.
Imitation of Christ.
Oh, you showed the longer version.
Yes, we showed that. I showed it at the Elgin Theatre. And it did not make much difference if some reels were there or there, because the form was very open. You could feed it different reels and in the order of those, I don't know, 20 or whatever different half-an-hour reels. Did not make
Didn't
that
matter.
difference.
No,
Did
no.
not matter that much.
That's true.
It's not like in a Hitchcock film.
I forgot that we showed those reels,
Yes.
but the 24 hours.
No, it was it was great. It's one, unfortunately, only 200 people saw it, and it was shown only once. But it's still in my mind.
It's one of my favorite things, and
Yes.
it was the only thing of the 24 hours I tried to put a little story, but not a narrative story.
Yes.
But I took those reels out.
Even without any attempt of putting a story in
No.
to it, like it comes true. There is something that is.
It was
the
a
con-
story in the sense that the main character had a mother, a father, a girlfriend, and an older friend, and they spoke, and then Taylor showed up. But I cut it down to 90 minutes also, and that exists, and they've made a copy of the work print when they show it at the Museum of Modern Arts.
But I will have to show that 5 or 6 hours.
I think it should be shown again because it was.
Can it be? You think?
Oh yes,
reconstructed?
because
There are
those reels are all sitting.
Oh.
They're sitting in the museum, and they could just be assembled.
That's
again.
which reels?
The what? Yes,
Which
just
one?
the reels. Very easy. They're all with one kid, a young kid.
I think we should work on this project.
That's a good idea. Just get the museum to restore the reels because I didn't like what they did with the work print. They can't make if they have camera original. Why do they use work prints to make a restoration?
That was with D'Alessandro?
No. Nico had a small part in it, but it was a boy who spoke to the camera, and he was 17, and every time
it was.
kept talking about a book he read called The Imitation of Christ. And when his mother would talk to his father, he'd listen, and then he'd turn to the camera and address the camera and pay no attention to his mother and father and talk about his reading a book. And so I thought it was such an interesting kind of peculiar thing.
Yeah.
And so it was a sort of fiction film, and then a direct address to the camera by a strange boy who talked on and on about his reading. Well, I don't know. Anyway, one more thing about Jonas's materials here. The scenes in the life of Andy Warhol. Yes.
In any case, regarding the scenes from the life of Andy Warhol, I think it's a film which shows the real person, like a little glimpse, not much, but we get a little bit closer to real, Andy as a person, not what one reads sometimes in some exaggerated way that he was this or he was that, but he was, a person, and that I think.
I agree.
Comes.
I think I agree. He was totally, in many ways, he was a normal person, but he was incredibly insecure, and his public appearances always seemed very odd because he was so frightened. Somebody recently wrote about Michael Jackson's interview. They said, "Why are they making such a fuss? He's not so peculiar. He's not that much more peculiar than Bob Dylan or Andy Warhol."
No,
but that was Andy's public appearance. In his real life, he was totally a nice guy. And he was.
And that is usually not known from what's being written about Andy.
No.
So that is, I think, why, I myself like this film.
And there's very little footage of him relaxed, and that is absolutely, I think, the only stuff I know of. So, okay, thank you, Jonas, and I hope the Italian television audience will enjoy the film. Great. That's enough.